You look like the traveling sort. In your excursions, have you perchance come upon a young dark elf named Vale? She went missing a couple of weeks ago and her father desperately seeks any information regarding her whereabouts. That's a shame. Her father... You look like the trap. That's a shame. Her father, Eris, the house counselor here in Balmorы, promises that anyone who can find his daughter and return her safely to his side will be well rewarded. You should speak to Counselor Eris. He's opened the kin house to interview potential recruits. Freelancers, as it were. If you're interested, go speak to the counselor. The longer Vea remains missing, the more distressed Counselor Eris becomes. Counselor Eris can be found at the Redarin kin house, and do hurry. He's ever so troubled by our failure to locate young Vea. If he finds that an outsider can succeed where the house guard has failed, so be it. I have no issue with Counselor Eris seeking help. It's where he's decided to get that help that concerns me. House Redarin doesn't need outsiders to take care of its business. But who am I to question a house counselor? Fair. How can anyone not know about House Redarin? Is this some sort of Outlander ruse? Well, in that case, Redarin is the grandest of the great Dunmer houses. We champion the virtues of duty and piety, and we have a proud military tradition. Our house comes first in all things. I don't understand why Eris seeks outside help. Counselor Eris Relith oversees Redarin operations in Balmorы and the surrounding countryside. He's very influential, very powerful. Usually, the counselor doesn't allow his passions to get the better of him. But Vea is his daughter, after all. If I knew what happened to the counselor's daughter, I wouldn't be talking to you now, would I? As far as we can tell, she left of her own accord. There wasn't any foul play involved that we're aware of. Beyond that, fair.
House Talvani still keeps slaves?
How else do those lazy mages accomplish anything?
But what about the pack?
House Talvani stayed out of the pack. The wizards
Yes? Is there something I can do for you, Outlander? My daughter has been gone too long and the house guard can't seem to find a wall in the corner. But why should I trust you with this task? Tell me, Outlander, how can you succeed when my forces continue to fail time and time again? An interesting insight. Perhaps you can find my daughter. Vea can handle herself, but the father worries, you understand? Anyway, I agree with your assessment. That's why I'm willing to bring in outside help on this. Vea fled after a family disagreement. She's run away before, but I'm concerned that she might have something more permanent in mind this time, and more dangerous. Vea knows how to evade the house guard, but as you said, she doesn't know you. Captain Briven oversees the house's attempt to locate my daughter. You should speak to him and see what his investigation has already turned up. He's probably patrolling the town square at this time of day. Briven's soldiers have been trying to get information out of Vea's friends, but those young men and women are almost as good at avoiding the house guard as my daughter. That is a private matter. If your investigation proves fruitful and such matters become relevant, we can discuss the particulars then, but not before. Like my daughter, my wife has a mind of her own. What the two of you discuss is your own affair. Just understand that I haven't employed you to solve my family's problems. I only need you to find my daughter. Vea has always been fascinated by the Morag Tong. Even admired one of their agents when she was growing up. It's possible she sought refuge with this agent, or even decided to join the organization. Though I hope I'm wrong about that. The Morag Tong? They're an ancient guild of assassins sanctioned by the tribunal to carry out honorable writs of execution. Ostensibly, they're supposed to keep the houses from resorting to all-out war, but I still find the practice barbaric. Someone of no consequence, and not at all important to accomplishing your mission. Besides, you don't find Morag Tong agents, they find you. Just pray it's not because your name wound up on one of their writs. That is a death sentence.
How may I serve?
I couldn't help overhearing your conversation with my husband. We share the same office after all. Thank you for agreeing to look for our daughter. But know that Vea is headstrong. I say this from experience. I am her mother after all. She stormed out of the house after a heated argument with her father. Nothing unusual in that. But when she didn't return, well, that's when both her father and I started to worry. I'd rather not talk about that. It's a private matter concerning the family. The relevant fact remains that my daughter took her most cherished possessions and left home. I'm worried that she's going to do something that can't be undone. As I said, Vea is headstrong, confident, perhaps too confident. She might join the Morag Tong just to spite her father, or run off to fight in the war, something reckless along those lines. Please do what you can and find my daughter. Important? I suppose that depends upon who you ask. My husband thinks so. I'm the treasurer here in Balmorы. My job requires that I record all important transactions regarding Redarin finances and balance everything to the last gold piece. Councillor Eris, who oversees Redarin operations in the Balmorы region. Our family is one of the most respected in the house. I'm surprised you haven't heard of us, wherever it is you come from. Now, if you don't mind.
There is an urgent task for you.
Not now, Outlander. If you need some sort of assistance, go find one of the House Guard. You must be one of the freelancers the Council employed to supplement the duties of the House Guard. Very well. I'll tell you what I know. Vaya ran away. Again. I hope you can succeed where my troops have failed. If anything happens to Vaya... I've known the Relith family since I was a child. Vaya is like a sister to me, and I'll do everything in my power to get her home safe and sound. Even trust an Outlander. We think our friends may know where she is, but they keep eluding us. Perhaps. As long as you don't get too close. They've been running notes of late. I think it has something to do with Vaya, but the runners keep evading my guards. Look for a group meeting on the other side of town, and see if you can follow the note. When you find Vaya's friends, remember to keep your distance. You just want to spot the note carrier and follow him to whoever's receiving these messages. That's the key to locating Vaya. If you can't do it, don't worry. The house can handle it. We started to notice elves gathering in out-of-the-way parts of the city. One of my guards saw them pass a note between them, but they split up and she lost them in the back alleys. Could be a love poem or a recipe for Kwama cream cocktail. But we suspect it's the way Vaya has been keeping tabs on what's been happening in the city. Look, it may amount to nothing, but the note could give us a lead on where to find Vaya. Vaya's a born warrior. Hard-headed, stubborn, a real pain in the ass. She can fight like an angry netch, though. I keep trying to get her to join the militia. She always turns me down. That's not my tale to tell. Deal with in recent weeks. Maybe you can ask Vaya, if and when you find her.
Get this letter to Drevis. It's important. Just don't let House Redoran get their hands on it. If you think you're being followed, find a place to hide. Good luck.
I saw you head across the bridge toward Vaya's friends. So, how did you fare, Outlander? Did you learn anything that might help us find Drevis? That laggard? I never understood what Vaya saw in him. I suggest you go back and try again. Just do a better job of keeping your distance and don't lose...
Get this letter to Trevis. It's important. Just don't let House Redoran get their hands on it. If you think you're being followed, find a place to hide. Good luck.
I don't feel so well.
Well done. This should help us determine what happened to Vea's brother. Hello, can I help you? Wait a moment. You're one of those hirelings House Redoran pays to harass us simple folk. Look, all Vea wants to do is to find out what happened to her brother. Too bad the house doesn't seem to care a swit about any of that. Vea wants nothing to do with the house or her father. Why can't any of you respect that? Even if I wanted to help, I haven't seen Vea since she snuck out of town. We communicate by notes, and this one isn't even about her. If you must know, it concerns Vea's brother. He was an officer in the House Guard before he vanished without a trace. We've been trying to help Vea find him. A local tough. Goes by the name of Ashur. He delivers the letters. We usually meet him outside of town to the northeast. But good luck trying to get any information out of him. Ashur is not known for his conversational skills. I think we're done here, don't you? East, outside of town. Or is this your way of offering to save me a trip since you're headed his way? I'm not telling you anything, you Redoran lapdog. I'm sorry about that. I'm kind of on edge, if you hadn't noticed. Everyone knows Vea's brother, or they did, before he disappeared. Ulran was an exemplary officer. Everything House Redoran could hope for. Vea won't rest until she learns the truth. She ran away because her father refused to give her a straight answer. She suspects he was involved in Ulran's disappearance. Or that he at least knows more than he's willing to say. Is it any wonder Vea decided to take matters into her own hands? You think I'm just going to tell you all our secrets, Outlander? Well, that's not going to happen. I won't betray Vea. All right. No need to get violent. Vea doesn't want her father to find her until she's located her brother, so we help protect her. That's why we set up the runners. Let the Councilor's hounds chase us, while Vea looks for Ulran. I'm sure Councillor Eris's intentions are good. He loves his daughter. Wants her back safe and sound. But what about what Vea wants? Her brother home safe, her father's honesty, the house looking out for its people and not just its precious honor? Balmor's not that big. Most of the sons and daughters of the house leaders and prominent merchants know each other. Vea's one of us. We'll do whatever it takes to help her find her brother. Well, within reason. And Vea would do the same for us. That's why we're helping her. She really is a terrific person.
That's it! Kill the Morag Tog and any witnesses!
I'll just take my leave. No use getting my axes bloody again.
I'm hurt!
I had that situation under control. Just needed them to make the first hostile move. Still, I cleaned enough blood off my axes. You were you? Was it Melissa? I told her I'd close out my tab after I completed another contract. That woman has the patience of an anxious nix. Well, tell her I'm good for it. I'll stop by and we can conclude our business cordially. Vea? The new apprentice? Now why are you now? And why do you want to do that? Never mind, I don't really care. I was asked to pass along some notes, but I'm not really the messenger type. I suggest you talk to Vea's mentor. Last I heard, she had a job in the Western Ruins. Make sure you don't anger Vea's mentor, even look at her the wrong way. She's grown surprisingly protective of that young woman, and if she thinks you pose a danger... Besides, I'd hate to see you wind up on the wrong end of one of our... You know, the usual buyer's remorse. I see a lot of that in my line of work. Turns out, I had to kill a bad man who did bad things. The writ was legal and above board. Unfortunately, his brother didn't see it that way and was looking for revenge. Oh, you make it sound so obscene. Still, that's pretty much an accurate description. But it's not like I work for the Dark Brotherhood or anything. I don't kill anyone without a sanctioned writ. Keeps the great houses in line. It's a calling. I'd rather not get on a bad side. You should keep that in mind too if you plan to continue on this course. Vea's mentor usually sticks to the rules, but I wouldn't turn my back on her.
Cannon level must have really impressed Lord Vivek. He was promoted to Archcanon.
Lord Vivek bestowed many favors that
Leave me, Outlander. Let me die in the shame I've brought to Malakath. Defeated by a lone warrior. Malakath will laugh at our incompetence. An assassin. Probably a Morag tongue. She tracked our leader here. But she doesn't know. We set a trap inside. She's just one woman! Get inside the ruins and stop her! Let the assassin come. I'm tired of running and she doesn't frighten me. Come out, little assassin! Or is the Morag Tom too scared to meet the powerful Snag face to face?
You sure aren't dressed like one. You're walking into a dangerous place, hero. You must be here. Questions? I don't have time for questions. I have a rip to complete. Look, I can't keep these evil cultists waiting. You want to talk? Find me after I finish this job.
Come out, little assassin! Or is the Morag Tom too scared to meet the powerful snake face to face?
There she is. Surround her. Cut her apart.
Excuse me, hero. I have to see an orc about a writ.
Don't kill me. I didn't mean to interfere with House Tolvani's plans. I made a mistake.
A mistake? Well, that explains everything. I'll just let the Tolvani know. I'm sure Mage Valian will understand.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought for sure you were going to kill me.
I am. I hate when my leathers get wet. And this is a new outfit, too. Ah, well. I suppose we ought to discuss what you're doing here. You're obviously not one of the Malakath cultists, so I have one question. Why the tusk are you following me, and why shouldn't I just kill you and be done with it? Yes, that was 2 questions, and an orc curse, and a threat. It's been a long day. Oh, that's not what I expected. But you can just turn around and leave. You're not going to find her. Faye's going through a difficult time right now. And the last thing she needs is some house veteran lackey adding to her pain and confusion. Really? Is that what old man Eris told you? And did he tell you about Vea's brother? About how House Redwin exiled their favorite son? No? I didn't think so. Vea needs answers and I promise to help her. So walk away while you still can. Outsiders? Is her father really that desperate? Look, tell Eris that Vea's safe and you'll see her soon. But no more outsiders. If my organization gets skittish, they'll return to the shadows and take Vea with them. They'll only deal with you. Well, it's not exactly a lie, and I don't want things to get out of hand. I'll arrange a meeting, provided Vea agrees. You let Eris know she's safe. Get him to stop hiring freelancers before someone gets hurt. I'll send word. I suppose if you're in for a sliver, you might as well be in for the log. I'm with the Morag Tong, and what you witnessed was a legal murder. According to my writ, the orc had to die. So, I killed him. Now, if you don't mind, I need to get back to Vea. Vea and I have a history. A brother, too. They were good kids. Liked to watch me train. Now I feel responsible for her. When she came to me looking for help and asked to join the Morag Tong, who was I to refuse? That was her decision, not mine. Vea's good with a blade and tracks like a Lord Ranger. She's a natural at this, and it gives me a chance to keep an eye on her. So now I'm her mentor and she's my apprentice. I wouldn't have it any other way. That was poetry in motion. Not only is my organization getting choice assignments again, but we're starting to recover some of our prestige. Specifically, these Malakath cultists interfered with House Telvanni, so they had to be dealt with. Oh, him? No one special. Just the leader of this particular band of mad cultists. His name was on the writ, so I had to end him. It's what I do, after all, and I do it so well. I suppose... guild requests your help. Anything I can do for you?
I'm surprised to see you back here, but I'm also relieved. Does this mean you have news about my daughter? Is she safe? Is she ready to come home? Vea joined that cult of assassins? I was afraid she'd do something rash. What was she thinking? I don't see the Morag Tong as safe, but at least she's still alive. So, I suppose that's something. When are we going to meet with my daughter? She won't meet with me? No, I suppose she's not ready for that quite yet. As for Vea's brother, that was all the doing of the Redoran Council. I'm not allowed to discuss the details, but he's still alive, if that's what Vea is worried about. Naryu's back in town? She's as stubborn as Vea. Very well. No other outsiders. Although I can't dismiss the mercenaries that Captain Brithen employs. House Redoran is my life, as is Vea. I'll do everything in my power to see her home safely. As you say, no other outsiders. But there are rules, Outlander. I must do everything within reason to maintain the honor of House Redoran. Here, when next you see her, tell my daughter that I want to talk to her. Vea can set the terms, and I expect her to stop running away when things don't go her way. Vea has always felt shackled by the rules of House Redoran, hobbled by the many duties and obligations it presses upon its subjects. After the situation involving her brother, she decided she wanted nothing more to do with the house, or with me. That may be an oversimplification, but I suppose your statement is accurate. I walk a narrow path between House Counselor and loving father. Unfortunately, the former often supersedes the latter. That's why I want to speak to Vea again.
Well, look at that. Now you said I'd find you here, and damn it all if she wasn't right. Did I mention how much I hate being a messenger? Makes me wish I had a writ so I could kill something. Anyway, Nayu wants to talk to you. Said you'd know what it was all about. Here. This should explain everything, sort of. It's a map. We change locations every other day for security reasons, just in case it falls into the hands of House Redoran or someone else with an axe to grind with our organization. Never had to use a map before. Amateurs. This one leads to a key to one of our safe houses, and another map. The first map, it depicts a particular town, kind of like this one. Hint, hint. The rest? Well, you'll have to figure that out on your own. Look, I know you're helping Councillor Eris, but if that map falls into House Redoran hands, I'll probably have to kill you. Nothing personal, mind you. We're already having a bit of trouble with the house, and we'd rather not make matters worse. Well, look at you. You're a practical genius. Look, Nayu seems to trust you, so I suppose I have to trust you too. But that's a powerful secret you've been given. Betray us, and you'll find my blade in your back. Unless Nayu kills you first. The Morag Tong has the authority to accept and carry out writs of execution. We keep the great houses from engaging in all-out war, but they rarely appreciate the work we do on their behalf. House Redorin in particular wants to shut us down. Ugh, the other houses have used us to take Redorin down a peg or two of late. To be frank, for all their vaunted honor, the house cries foul whenever someone gets the better of them. Our status is tenuous enough without Redorin's constant harassment. As I understand it, the Morag Tong made mistakes in the past, grew too arrogant. We had to lay low for more than a century. Now, we're taking select contracts, working to re-establish our reputation. It's not our fault most of them concern Redorin.
Keeping myself busy here. I don't seem to be making much progress.
How's
Sorry about all the subterfuge, but we can't be too careful when it comes to security around here. Don't be so eager, my darling. It reveals too much about your ultimate intentions. But yes, Vea would very much like to meet with you. You intrigue her, and your connection to her father could prove beneficial once she knows she can trust you. Redoin records. House officials keep track of everything. Incidents, commendations, births and deaths. Whether important or mundane, they detail it all in their registry. Vea believes the registry contains information about her brother Ulron. Don't sound so offended. You had to know your hands were going to get dirty eventually. You are dealing with assassins and politicians, after all. The local keeper of records, Lord Drono, is away, so security at his townhouse should be light.
Comrade, a word. guild has need of you, comrade.
Still alive, I see. And since you're here, that means you weren't captured and hauled off to a Redoran dungeon. Good for you. Were you able to acquire the registry? Does it contain any information about Vea's brother, Ulron? Ulron was exiled? That can't be right. He's an exemplary officer and a good man. Plus, he's the son of a counselor. Why in oblivion would House Redoran banish one of their brightest stars? I can see that. There has to be more to the story, but I'm not sure how we get it. Still, you proved you could be trusted, and you admirably performed this task. So I suppose I should let you meet with Vea now. There's an abandoned cave along... Vea's supposed to wait inside, but she's bored. I know she's been sneaking out. You'll find her in the cave or just outside. Get to the swamp and find Vea. Going to appreciate getting that registry. Just try not to be... She has enough distractions as it is. Vea would face too many temptations here in Balmorы. Friends, favorite places, familiar sights and sounds, not to mention the proximity to all things House Redoran. Even the most thick-headed house guard would eventually stumble over her. Oh, don't thank me, hero. As long as you're useful and don't betray us, then we're engaged in a mutually beneficial arrangement. Cross us in any way, however, and you'll never see my blade before it plunges into your heart. Well enough. Ulron and Vea used to sneak out to watch me train. I have a way with blades that fascinated them to no end. Eventually, our fondness developed between the three of us. And to think, I never even had a nick sound growing up. It's not like personal relationships are against the rules, though I suppose they are sort of frowned upon. Anyway, my assignments always brought me back to Vardenfell, so we were able to keep in touch and visit even as they grew older. Anything's possible, but the Ulron I know holds honor above all else. I can't believe he'd do something so dishonorable that the house leaders would demand his exile. We need to find out more about what happened. Vea's young, bored, and stubborn. That makes for a volatile combination. She wants fresh air and freedom. I can't blame her for that. I can blame her for assuming I'm not aware of her little excursions. I thought I trained her better than that. Danger's a relative term, especially when you're dealing with relatives. Vea can make her own decisions. If she wants to risk getting caught by House Redoran, that's on her head, especially since she knows they've been searching that area.
There is an urgent task for you. The guild requests your help.
And you're sure it's Vea? House Redoran isn't emptying its coffers so you can chase your own tails out here.
You pay the war claws well, because the war claws are the best there is. We have the kitten's scent. It's just a matter of time before my warriors catch her.
Of course, Ferrara. Just make sure she doesn't get out of the swamp. I'll take my soldiers and go... Ah, the Counselor's lackey. I understand you've made significant progress in your search for Vea. As a matter of fact, so have we. My mercenaries have spotted Vea skulking about the northern portion of the swamp. Between my soldiers and Ferhara's war claws, the Councillor's daughter will soon be home safe and sound. Khajiit mercenaries of the highest order. For members of a lesser race, Ferhara's warriors are surprisingly effective. I employ them to bolster our forces. Between obligations to the Pact and other matters, House Redorin is spread thin of late. As you say, Ferhara's war claws take their contract as seriously as you do, however. Get in their way, and I can't guarantee your safety.
Ferhara assumes the Councillor's minions will not present a problem for the war claws. Yes, Captain?
The Outlanders have been warned, Ferhara. I leave everything else to your discretion.
Stupid war claws. Now I know how a mouse feels. By the three! You really shouldn't sneak up on a person like that. If you're working with those mercenaries, I assure you, you won't take me without a fight. Oh, right. Now you mentioned something about that. Look, I can't wait to hear what you learned, but the swamp is crawling with mercenaries. There's a cave to the northeast. We can talk there. Unfortunately, there's a mob of those beast people between here and the cave. I was going to try and sneak past them, but every time I get too close, I think one of them catches my scent. You're going to tackle that mob of fur and claws? I'm impressed. Meet me at the cave when you're finished. I think we have a lot to talk about. Oh, and try not to get killed. I really want to know what you came all this way to tell me. Meet me in the cave to the north when you finish with the mercenaries.
I can smell the dark elf kitten. Looks like we're the first ones here.
War claws! Let's play this outsider!
What do you think of my luxurious accommodations? It's got dirt and rock, fungus and a poultry fire, all the comforts of home. Anyway, you said you had information about my brother, Oran. What did you find out? No, that can't be right. Oran's honorable and noble. He's a model soldier. What could he have possibly done to warrant being banished? What?
My brother has always been interested in the Ashlanders. Even showed them a kindness the rest of the house doesn't approve of. But for him to kill someone, especially one of his own soldiers, something terrible must have happened. I know the tribe that Oran liked to help, brought them supplies and such. He'd go and visit their camp whenever our father wasn't paying attention. Will you go with me to talk to them?
She can handle herself just fine, hero. Vea, grab your things. It's time to go.
Go? Why? What's going on?
The Warclaws are marching toward this cave along with half the House Redoran soldiers in Balmorы. We need to go now.
Damn it! They must have followed us. I'll get my stuff.
Dealing with an arrogant, impatient, overconfident young woman. Now I know how my mother must have felt. We need to move. It won't take those damn cats long to find this place, not with their sense of smell. The back tunnels. Better than heading out the front door and right into the main contingent of Redoran troops. Councillor Eris brought additional soldiers from town. He's intent on getting his daughter, and he may have the numbers to do it. One more thing. The back tunnels wind their way through territory that House Redoran recently acquired. We may run into some resistance, but it shouldn't be as bad as what's waiting outside the front of the cave.
Does the scene look unstable to you?
Search everywhere. Captain Briggen thinks the Councillor's kitten might try to escape through these tunnels.
Damn! Those cat bastards are harder to shake than a blind date. I can't get captured and taken back to my father. Not when I'm this close to finding my brother. That must be the way out. I just hope there aren't any Redorans up there. Oh no. Father ruins everything. I'm so close to finding my brother, and he shows up to drag me back home. Well, I'm not going back without a fight. You do that for me. Thanks, I guess. But what can you possibly do against all those soldiers? My father brought the whole damn army with him this time. Clever. Tell my father whatever he wants to hear. That might actually work. Afterward, meet me at the Ashlander camp to the south. My brother would often visit that particular tribe. This is good. Once I find Oran and make sure he's alright. And tell him to call off his soldiers, or I might change my mind. That should buy us some time.
Who goes there?
Stand down. These outlanders work for me. The captain reported that he had seen you in the area. There are also multiple reports that Vea has been spotted. Tell me, have you seen my daughter? I won't. I also said that the captain has his own resources. The Warclaws report to Brivin, not me. Look. We're all just trying to get my daughter home safely. Now, tell me. It was a gamble, I admit. An opportunity I couldn't let slip away. You won't make me feel guilty about trying to find my daughter. So, Where and when will they meet with me? Very well. We'll do this her way. Vea can be as stubborn as her mother sometimes. But tell my daughter that my patience won't last forever. Next time, I expect Vea to be with you. Or I might just do as I command, and let them pass.
Well, there certainly aren't Ashlanders, not with those tails.
This is
Disturbing.
I can't believe this. Why allow the Warclaws to run roughshod over the camp like this? What's House Ridderin thinking? And what in the name of the three have they done with the Ashlanders? My brother often visited this camp. Took me along a couple of times. It used to be such a vibrant place, so full of life. I know House Ridderin wants to expand along the western coast, but I never expected they'd set the Warclaws loose like this. If Ulran was here, he'd never stand for the Warclaws invading the camp. He told me the Ashlanders were the same as you and I. Different beliefs don't necessarily make people bad. We need to see if we can find out what happened here. I really want to help, but Nario won't hear of it. We don't get our hands dirty unless there's a writ attached. She's so fond of reminding me. We'll hang around and wait for you to find something before we move in.
Vea, I don't think this is a good idea. We're trying to keep you out of House Redrin hands, remember?
You're not my parent, Nario. I can take care of myself, even if the Mother of Blades doesn't think so.
Damn it, Vea. You know I hate that title.
If I'd realized how popular this camp was going to be with Outlanders, I would have moved the tribe ages ago. You don't appear to be one of the heretical invaders, but looks can be deceiving. Ah, Ulran the exile. He disgraced his family and lost his status, but remained true to his heart. Ulran is here. He tried. I assume they dragged him off to the mine, along with most of the tribe who refused to let those tribunal dogs walk all over us. Or should I say tribunal cats in this instance? Be wary. The mine will be as protected as the camp, maybe even more. It's a small hole in the ground, but it served us well until the Redderans and their Warclaws arrived. Now they toss my people aside and lock the door. Warclaw Irgazar carries the key, but there is a spare in the supply yard. Get the key to the mine from either the Warclaw's commander or the supply yard, whichever suits your needs. Perhaps you'll find what you seek within Kudanot's depths. To keep the head and the body separate. As long as I'm here, I can't offer my people hope or advice, and I certainly can't compel them to rebel against these invaders. I have no doubt. However, my place remains with my people, at least for now. The Warclaws have treated me well so far. They believe I can make their tails fall off if I so choose. Who am I to dissuade such creatures from their beliefs?
We're just going to burn them? Even the rhetoric?
The captain called them traitors and savages. Said the good roasting was more than they deserved.
Intruders! Warpaws! Attack!
Down here! Come on! Wait. What's that smell?
Veya, stay back. You don't need to see this.
What happened here? Oh gods! They murdered these poor Ashlanders! Oh no! Oran! Oran! Wake up, please! You can't be dead. You just can't!
Veya shouldn't have had to see this. Even I'm finding it hard to believe that the mercenaries would slaughter these Ashlanders for no reason. Not to mention the son of a house counselor. I suppose anything could happen in the heat of the moment. But to kill a veteran, even an exiled one, that's presumptuous even for the war clause. I wonder if Eris knows about this. I'm not sure how Veya's going to get her answers now. I've seen these before. They use them in Eastmarch to record and send important messages. They're expensive and as rare as a sober Nord, but Oron was always attracted to the contrivances of other cultures. Shall we see what it has to say?
If you're listening to my voice, know that my time is short, and what I have to say.
You!
Everything. You have to understand, I don't share my house's hatred and distrust of Ashlanders. So, during my normal patrol, when I heard that Ashlanders had come to Balmorы and were causing trouble, I was dubious to say the least. I arrived to find one of my soldiers arguing with the Ashlanders. He spat at them, called them savages. When one of the Ashlanders objected, my soldier drew his sword. Before I could intervene, my soldier's blade struck him down. I ordered the soldier to stand down, but he ignored me and stepped toward the second Ashlander. I killed my own soldier. I had to. Before I knew it, I was dragged before the Redoran Council and exiled. I never even got to say farewell to my sister. I believe I was set up for this fall, but I don't know by who. I came to this camp for shelter, but House Redoran's reach grows ever longer. Now Captain Briven's here. I'm going to talk to them. just in case, I made this stone for my sister Vea.
Oran! Damn it! What am I supposed to do now? Oran's not supposed to be dead. That wasn't the way this was supposed to end. What am I gonna do now? Damn Oran for leaving me that damn message! And damn him for dying on me! I still don't understand. Oran said someone set him up to fall. Who would do such a thing? And why would they do it? Oran never wanted to hurt anyone. So that's why they exiled him? That's why they killed him? He was too damn good? That's the problem? We've got to find out who did all this. They won't get away with this. I won't allow it. Oh, I'll find them all right. And when I do, they'll pay for what happened to Oran. I swear by Mafala's sacred web and the first blood my blade ever tasted, I'm going to avenge my brother.
I agree with Ulran's assessment. Certainly sounds like someone led him into a situation guaranteed to make him fail. I can't believe he put this burden on Vea, though. What was Ulran thinking? I didn't say that. Just not sure how to proceed. We're entering dangerous waters here, going up against House Ridrin, and we don't even have a writ to protect us. I'm going to take Vea and head back to our safe house in Balmorы. I found our cave, but the abandoned basement is still secure. After that, I'm not sure. The Morag Tong has rules. If I break them, I'll have to deal with the consequences. We can't just kill with wild abandon. We follow a code. We only execute those whose names appear on sanctioned writs. If we kill respectable citizens without a writ, that's just murder. So, without proof and a proper writ, my hands are tied. You do that, but be careful. We're not sure who in House Redrin is involved, and I'd rather not see you wind up like these poor Ashlanders. Vea and I still need your help to get to the bottom of all of this. We'll see you in Ball. I help you?
And so the Outlander returns, as we discussed in the swamp. I expected you to return with Vea, or present complication. What kind of complication? I ordered my soldiers to stand down and let you do things your way. But instead of results, you bring me excuses. No, that's not possible. My son was banished, ordered to leave Vardenfell and never return. Why would he disobey me and go to those savages? Vea was with you? And you left her out there? By the three, everything is unraveling no matter how hard I try to maintain control. Tell my daughter I'm sorry. Tell her she needs to stay away until I can calm things down. I don't want to see anything happen to her. Promise me. And take this. If you'll excuse me, I need some time to consider everything you've told me. Once I determine the best way to proceed, I'll contact you. In the meantime, it was never meant to be an attack. I sent Captain Briven to clear land that already belonged to House Redoran. The Ashlanders were given an opportunity to depart. The situation didn't have to turn violent. Those damn savages should have just left. House Redoran has been slowly expanding in that direction for years. We claimed that area almost a year ago, but we were forced to temporarily abandon it when a massive ash storm hit. Before we could return, the Ashlanders moved in. Redoran depends on that land for hunting and resources. The Ashlanders are like a plague of insects. They sweep into an area, take everything, and move on. We couldn't allow them to do that here. So I sent Captain Briven to convince them otherwise. The captain serves House Redoran with honor and dedication. He's out doing his job. If Briven had anything to do with my son's death, he would have reported it to me. He'd have no reason to keep such news from me and the other counselors. I'll speak to Briven when he returns. But understand, the captain operated under my orders. He's an exemplary soldier and an upstanding member of the House. Like me, everything he does is for the betterment of House Redoran.
Is what you said about my son true? Ulran is... I don't attend council meetings, so I wasn't there when they debated the fate of my son. But my husband assured me the proceedings were fair. Ulran received the punishment he deserved. I can't believe that my son did anything that required him to die. House honor be damned! I just want my children back home, safe and sound. My husband and the house can go to oblivion. All I care about right now is my children. They killed my son because he did what he believed was right. Now my poor Vea is in danger. Eris can stand by the house, but he might have to do so alone.
Outlander, over here! Now you told me what you found in the Ashlander mine. I can't imagine what Vaya must be going through right now, but she shouldn't be alone. That's why I came looking for you. Nayu has responsibilities to tend to. Morag Tong responsibilities. Understand? She left me to keep Vaya company, but I'm not very good at spouting words of comfort and solace. You do understand. And now you implied you're as dense as the ash storms coming off Red Mountain. Good to know even the Mother of Blades can be wrong. Vaya's upset, and not just about her brother. She wanted to go with Nayu. One other thing. Nayu's job concerns House Redoran. That's why she didn't want Vaya to accompany her on this one. Vaya's grief-stricken, angry, and ready to lash out at anyone and anything, so keep your head low and try not to upset her. I have experience getting on a lot of people's bad sides. Women, especially, find me exasperating. Irresistible, but exasperating. It's a gift. Something about who Nayu's target is. Thinks the target may know something about what happened to her brother. Look, I'm not even sure how Vaya found out who Nayu's target is, and I don't want to know. Just go and talk to her, please. Carefully, and with your hands empty and clearly visible. She's in the safe house beneath Balmorы, or at least that's where I left her. But I didn't lock the door, so I suppose she could be anywhere by now. I suggest you hurry and get down there. We couldn't stop laughing.
Get out of here, Ashur. I don't need a nursemaid, no matter what Naru might think. Oh, it's you. Sorry about that. Did Ashur send you to check up on me? I swear, the next person that treats me like a child is going to find my dagger in their stomach. Gods, I'm not mad at you. I'm just annoyed at everybody right now. No, I don't think so. It's just been difficult. Finding poor Ulran in the Ashlander camp. I need to be doing something. Sitting down here in the dark, hiding, that's not going to solve anything. I know, but Naryu's writ. It involves a Redoran councillor. Exactly the opportunity I've been waiting for. The councillor knows who set up my brother. We need to talk to her before Naryu executes the writ. Do this... Well, Naryu wouldn't tell me any specifics, but she trained me well. It wasn't hard to sneak a glance at the writ before she took off. Her target's at Arenum Manor, out in the swamp. Not far from that smelly cave, actually. I appreciate you agreeing to see what you can learn at Arenum Manor. My father used to say it was used by councillors as a retreat, but Mother always told me it was where they conducted business that required a certain degree of privacy. That's all I've been doing, thinking. And I think Ulran was right. I think someone wanted him out of the way, and they orchestrated the event with the Ashlanders to do it. Someone played. Brivon's as stubborn as my father when it comes to following the rules and regulations of House Redoran. Ulran and Brivon were best friends, even if they argued from time to time. Politics, foreign relations, the Ashlanders, you name an issue, and Ulran and Brivon were probably on opposite sides of the argument. It got to the point where I had to ignore both of them or they'd drive me insane. You did? How did he take it? I mean, he didn't know that my brother was dead. Really? I suppose that makes sense. I think he loves us, in his own way. But what else did he say? Did he know that Ulran had been banished? He didn't expect... My father doesn't know his children as well as he thinks. Either of them. That's why I had to get away. Join the Morag Tong. At least Naryu understands me. Mostly. I can't agree to that. I need to figure out what happened to my brother. who was involved, and then I'm going to make them pay.
The guild has need of you, comrade. Comrade, a word.
I expected you hours ago, hero. It's not polite to keep an assassin waiting. I was wondering how long it was going to take Vea to convince you to follow me, but she thought I didn't notice when she glanced at my writ, didn't she? Where is my overly curious apprentice, by the way? I know Vea wants answers, but this is my job. There are rules, especially where the lords of the great houses are concerned. There might be a way to deal with this, though. First, don't kill any veterans. That's a violation of my writ and could have serious consequences for both of us. Second, you sneak around and search for anything that pertains to Oron's exile while I figure out how to deal with the counselor. We need to be invisible. These things work best when no one but the target knows we're there. If you get spotted, you're on your own. I even cough on anyone without a writ, and the Morog tongue will have my head. That's the question, isn't it? It nags at us the way the torchbug nags at the brave little scrib in those children's stories. Once we discover who Ulron's torchbug is, we'll have a clearer understanding of why they set him up. I'm not saying that. Accidents happen. But they certainly made sure Ulron was in the wrong place at the wrong time, both in Balmorы and again in the Ashlander camp. In addition to whatever you can find here, Riven's name keeps coming up. At the very least, he was Ulron's best friend once. He might be able to shed some light on Ulron and what happened to cause his exile. And I really want to know what took place after Ulron left us that night. front door's guarded like a bank vault. Maybe there's another way in through one of the buildings by the docks. See what you can find pertaining to Uran. I've got a dagger and a writ with Councillor Dolvara's name on them.
What is that terrible smell?
So House Redoran issued an advisory against the Morag Tong? Fat lot of good that's going to do the Councillor. If we don't find anything, maybe we can ask for an invitation to the upcoming council meeting. I'm sure they'd be happy to answer our questions. Damn the luck! I was hoping for a quick stab and go, but it seems the Councillor might actually know something about Auron. So Councillor Dolvra does know something about Vea's brother. Damn it all! Now I suppose you want to actually talk to her before I execute the walking pile of pond scum. Of course we do. I specifically waited for you to arrive because I figured that would be the case. Still doesn't mean I'm happy about blurring the line between... We discovered that the next meeting of the High Council will take place at the consulate outside Balmorы. The war clause and the Ashlander abuse aren't completely sanctioned by the House. That means we have to get Dolvra to spill her guts before I spill her guts. Just keep your wits about you, hero. Dolvra wields her feminine charms the way I wield my daggers. Be quick with your questions, hero. When I slip in, so do my daggers.
Ah, you must be here about those pesky patrol schedules. After all that clandestine correspondence, it's a pleasure to finally meet you in person. Now, come closer so we can celebrate our partnership in a proper fashion. Well, look at you. I'm impressed. The last person House Dres sent over was so much more scruffy. I have a meeting with House Halalu shortly, but I think I can spare a few more moments for you to seal our partnership, you understand. The noble's banished son? Why does House Dres care about that? Never mind. Anything so we can get to the good stuff. Ulron was tested and found wanting. Chose the life of a savage over his own soldier. We stripped him of his rank and exiled him. Ulron's dead? I hadn't heard. As to who was behind the test of Ulron's loyalty, what does that matter? He failed and paid the...
You aren't clever enough or pretty enough to avoid what's about to happen, Dolvra.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you people?
I'm a Morag Tong with a writ that says you're a criminal and a traitor. That means I get to end your miserable existence. Take another look around, hero, and see if you can find anything else related to Ulron. Alikir massage oils? Fancy. But that has nothing to do with Ulron.
Did you see his new bow? That must have cost him.
That's Captain Briven's seal. I suppose our evil counselor courted favor wherever she could find it. The good Captain Briven appears to be more involved in Ulron's fate than I had imagined. He never struck me as the type to use murder and deceit to get ahead, but that's the problem with greed. It causes decent people to make stupid choices. Or he's trying to hide something. The letter mentioned an intact squad sent to scout the old fort. You need to get out there and see what those soldiers know before Briven gives them new orders and they disappear. I suppose she's probably pulled tight as a bowstring waiting to hear something. Go talk to Vea while I present my writ to the authorities. I can't wait to see the look on the Reverend Magister's face when I tell him what his counselor was up to.
ask for you.
Comrade, a word.
Back again? Took your sweet time. You didn't learn anything, did you? Not that it matters. Oran's dead and nothing can change that. What good is that going to do? They won't speak to us. House before family and all that. Believe me, I'm more than familiar with Redaran honor. Still, I suppose I know a few ways to get people to talk. More rules. I thought we were beyond those kinds of limitations. Look, I need to figure out who's responsible for Oren's death. House councillors, Redaran soldiers, Ashlanders, whoever. Riven was Oren's best friend. Would he really betray my brother? Regardless, I want you to have this. You could have handed me to my father and you didn't. Other than Naryu and Asher, you might be the only friend I have left. So which soldiers are we talking about? I know most of the people my brother used to work with. Eyewitnesses are better than notes in the house registry, provided I can actually get them to talk to me. There's no time to waste. That fort's near the cave where I was hiding. Last time I was there, the fort was crawling with cultists. We need to find them before Vatala and his soldiers wind up sacrificed to some Daedric prince. We'll get Vatala and his soldiers killed. I know the process. Turning in a writ can take hours, maybe even an entire day. I'll leave Naryu a note. She can meet us at the fort. I'm going. Let me gather my gear and write a note for Naryu. I'll meet you near the Hlormoran stronghold. The more I think about it, the more convinced I am that we'll learn who's responsible for Oran's death soon. Then blood will. As far as I'm concerned, rules got my brother killed. They don't apply to me anymore. Besides, to find the soldiers, we're probably going to have to carve a path through those cultists. The Morag Tang won't care about that. That's what the handbook says. Look, I know what Naryu's done for me. To keep me safe, I appreciate that. But this is about what they did to my brother. Nothing else matters. Not Naryu, not... No, never. You and Naryu aren't my enemies. I just need to get justice for Oran. Otherwise his death will be the first of many. We have to be able to resist laws that make no sense. I know Vatala. He's a typical Redaran soldier. Loyal to a fault. Always spouting nonsense about house and honor above all. He was devoted to my brother, though. Oran considered him to be one of his best. Oran had a habit of putting the needs of others ahead of his own. He probably told Vatala and his soldiers to remain quiet. Decided to take responsibility and save them any heartache.
The guild requests your help.
You're here, I'm here, the damn cultists are here. You know who isn't here? Battler and his squad. They're probably hiding. Or dead. They better. Nariu's probably busy clearing her writ, and we don't have time to wait. This opportunity to learn more about what happened to Olran won't last much longer. We need to find that squad of soldiers. Their orders were to scout the old stronghold. I suggest we search along the outskirts and see if we can... A Redoran officer's sword. No Redoran soldier would leave that behind willingly. A bedroll. Still wrapped and ready to use. Standard issue for a Redoran soldier. Corporal Darvel. I knew him. But the others, they're civilians. They must have taken Tellen's soldiers inside. Let's find the soldiers and get out of here before these stupid cultists realize what's happening.
Who's there? We won't let you take us without a fight. Wait, Vea, is that you?
Thank the three! You're all still alive.
I'm not sure what you and Vea are doing here, but let us out. Then we can return Vea to her father. Councillor Eris has been terribly worried since... This isn't the time or the place to have that discussion. Get the key to this cage and then we can find a private place to talk. One of the cultists carries the key. I don't think he's too far away. We hear him patrolling around every so often. Free us.
You find the key. Me and Vassila. We're going to have a little chat while we're waiting.
Vea, I'm just trying to protect you.
From what? The truth? Oh, please. I want to know who did this to my brother.
Ah, another sacrifice for the Prince of Bargains. Another sacrifice for the Prince of Bargains.
I knew I shouldn't have told Vea the truth. I just made everything worse. Please let us out of here. We have to stop Vea before she... I told her what she wanted to hear. I was with Captain Ulran the day everything happened. I was commanded to lure the Ashlanders to town and set up a situation for Ulran to deal with. My orders were to invite the Ashlanders to Balmorы to trade, send some local toughs to instigate a commotion, and then get Ulran to investigate. It was just supposed to be a loyalty test. Who expected Ulran to kill his own soldier to save a savage? Captain Briven, though he was still a lieutenant at the time. As soon as I explained all this to Vea, her face turned dark and she stormed out of here. I think she's going to Balmorы to kill him. You need to let me out so I can warn the captain. Thank you. Now, get to Balmorы and stop Vea before she does something she'll regret.
Get your ass over here, hero. We've got a situation and it's not good.
We don't seem to be making much progress.
Get your ass over here, hero. We've got a situation and it's not good. I leave you and Vea alone for a couple of hours and everything goes to oblivion in an ore cart. Why did Vea leave the safe house? And why is House Redren tearing the city apart to find her? You did what? I suppose you thought that was a good idea. Well, the damage is done. At least tell me you found something to make this debacle a little more palatable. That explains why Vea broke into the kin house. I'm not sure what happened in there, but she certainly stirred up the Redren soldiers. Vea might still be inside. Or she might have given them the slip. She could be anywhere by now. If Vea kills Briven without a writ, the Morog Tong and House Redren will both want her head on a silver platter. You check the kin house. I'll grab Ashur and see if we can pick up Vea's trail in the streets.
What is with all the Redren soldiers? Did something happen?
I wonder if it has something to do with the Councillor's daughter.
Scour the streets! Search the buildings! Vea Releth does not leave this city!
A young woman. She killed them all. Didn't say a word, just walked in, drew her blades, and cut down every soldier who tried. She headed upstairs to Captain Briven's apartment, I think. I can't believe she killed all these. No, she totally ignored us. Just the soldiers.
I've lost hope.
What's the meaning of this? Where are the soldiers? If you're looking for my husband, I'll tell you the same thing that I told that brazen young woman. The council is meeting outside Balmorы, and Briven is protecting the councillors. Now, if you don't mind, I've had more than enough excitement for one day. I could barely make sense of the nonsense she was spouting. It was Vea, Councillor Eris's daughter. Everything she said was a ramble. Something about my husband betraying her brother, that my Briven had to... She had a knife, but no, she didn't harm me. She said her brother wouldn't hurt an innocent, that I wasn't responsible for his death. Do you have any idea what she was talking about? Because I certainly don't. You shouldn't get involved. That young woman will hasten her own death if she thinks she can get past my husband and his soldiers. But if you insist, the meeting is taking place at the garrison north of Balmorы. Dead soldiers? They were just protecting the kin house. I'll go stay with my sister in Vivek. Griffin is the finest soldier I know. He'll set Vea straight. I'm sure of it.
Please tell me you found Vea. I can already feel the cold steel of the executioner's blade on the back of my neck. Is Vea trying to get herself killed? You can't just barge into a Redren garrison and ask the soldiers to stand aside while you murder their captain. We have to get to her before she gets to Briven. She murdered soldiers without a writ. This is a dark path she's decided to follow. And unless we play this just right, it's not going to end well for any of us. Let's find Vea and put a stop to this. We can...
The guild has need of you, comrade.
The soldiers will find her. I heard she slaughtered everyone in the kin house. That girl was trouble from the time she was old enough to walk. Hey, are you sure? I heard it was the Morag Tom. Had a writ from the house alone. It's obvious how much they want this city.
I don't like the looks of this. Brivin is using war claws to patrol the garrison instead of veteran soldiers. Either house forces are stretched thinner than I thought, or Brivin wants to justify the... Maybe nothing, maybe everything. We know Ulron refused to employ mercenaries. He hated counting on thugs to do the right thing. I expect the veteran council feels the same. Maybe Brivin's trying to show. The war claws may be a blessing in disguise. I can explain killing these bastards a lot easier than trying to wipe Redrin blood off my hands. Let's go stop Veya. I'm ready when you are. There's no stealthy way to approach this. The front door's our only option. Then we track down Brivin, find Veya, bonk her on the head, and get her out of here before she does something I can't fix. Easy as gore apple pie. Glad to see we all made it. Now let's find Brivin before Veya skewers him. Like many Redrin structures, this place is huge and designed to serve a multitude of purposes. We're going to need to split up to cover it all. We must find Brivin and keep him alive until I can talk some sense into my damn apprentice. He's going to be as mad as a bullnetch and twice as ugly, provided we can actually convince him we're here to save his sorry hide and that we're not part of a plot to kill him and the councillors. Just another day at the fair. Nothing yet, eh? I hear voices behind this door, but it's locked tight. Keep looking, hero. I haven't so much as heard or seen even a whisper of Brivin yet. Just lots of snarling war claws. It's always important to figure out where a target keeps its wine. In this case, down in the cellars. There's a staircase back where we first came in. And if we still don't find Brivin or Vea, well, at least there'll be plenty to drink. And I'll figure out how to get this door open, just in case. You know, attending a House Redoran Council meeting was always a secret goal of mine. Right after...
Captain Brivin is on his way. Soon we'll have a permanent job in House Redoran, yes? Intruders. They have interfered for the last time.
Doing here? Explain yourself! What in the name of the three are you up to? I thought you worked for Councillor Eris. You better have a damn good reason for killing the mercenary leader. I ought to sound the alarm and let her warriors deal with the likes of you. Vea? She's barely out from under her mother's apron and she presumes to judge my actions? No matter. Whatever your motives, nothing justifies the blatant killing of Ferhara and her mercenaries. Ah, now everything becomes clear. Vea learned something of her brother's fate and wants to retaliate. Then let her come. But know this, I merely set the events in motion. You're looking for the responsible party. Then look no further than Councillor Eris. He wanted to prove his son's loyalty to the House. To show that Ulrun's fascination with the savage Ashlanders hadn't... A test Ulrun failed. Eris was devastated when his son sided with the savages, and his daughter ran away. He decided to resign his position. He'll make the announcement today. Eris hopes to restore his family, but I think it's a...
That's for Ulrun. Choke on your own blood, you bastard. My father, the entire council, they're all guilty. They all have to die. I have to do this, so stay out of my way.
Vea actually did it. She killed Brivin in cold blood. Vea killed Brivin without a writ. It was pure, focused rage. I never expected her to go through with it. If Vea doesn't get herself killed up there, the Morag Tong will hunt her down and execute her. I'm not sure they deserve to be saved, but that's what we have to do. Vea can't be allowed to kill the councillors. We have to stop her. It's more than me and Vea's lives on the line. Something like this could destroy the Morag Tong. The Morag Tong only recently began to find acceptance again. Vea's actions don't just reflect badly on me. They could be used to force us back into the shadows, maybe even disband us all. We have to get ahead of her. Cut her off. There's a door on the main floor near... Nothing's more important than reaching the council meeting. If the mercenaries get in our way, cut them down.
There's no need to panic.
No need to panic? She's cut down every mercenary in her way. Her father won't be able to stop her.
Vea's getting close. We're running out of time. Let me try to open this door.
Vea, daughter, I am so sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen.
Come on, stubborn, stupid lock.
Father, why? Does the house really matter more than your own son?
I needed to protect Ulron, to prove his loyalty. If I could do it all over again.
But you can't! None of us can. That's why I have to do this.
That's an order.
I'm not your apprentice anymore. The house has grown corrupt, evil. That's why all the councillors have to die. No more rules, no more secrets. House Redoran falls today.
Enough, Vea. This isn't the way. Vea's down. It's over.
So much bloodshed. So much needless death. If only Eris would have listened. Outlander, we should speak. I think we can help one another. The Morag Tong agent. She cares deeply for Vea, doesn't she? It takes great courage to go against your heart and do what you know is best. You both did that by protecting the Council. For that, you have my thanks. A series of regrettable decisions led to this family tragedy, and most of them were made by Eris Relith. I knew of Ulron's compassion concerning the Ashlanders. It was unorthodox, but not worthy of the punishment meted out. Eris was wrong. Eris convinced Briven to test Ulran. Then the two of them decided to slaughter the Ashlanders. Oh, the council allowed itself to be convinced that exile was an appropriate punishment, but we were wrong to let it go as far as it did. I didn't say that, but we're not butchers. We do not hire mercenary thugs to wipe out an entire people. This gathering was to deal with that. Eris planned to step down, and we were going to demote Briven for the part. House Redorin behaved poorly. Morag Tong rules were violated. I suggest we make sure these details never see the light of day. Leave the bodies where they are. We will say that Veya died protecting her father and the council from the war claws. Cooperate with House Redorin and hold your tongues. It's as simple as that. I shall return to the council meeting and conclude our business.
I'm not sure about this. It's a generous offer, but those are some big secrets to sweep under a rug. The High Counselor thinks we killed her. The deal hinges upon all of us forgetting this sorry mess ever happened. Besides, once Veya regains her senses, there's every likelihood that she'll try to kill the counselors. When have I ever been able to convince Veya to do anything she didn't want to do? There's Redorin blood on Veya's hands. Once the Morag Tong ties those unauthorized, I don't see many options. We can either finish off Veya now and go along with the High Counselor's deception, or we slip out of here with Veya and send her far, far away. She broke her vows and deserves to die. I know that, but it still feels wrong. You're right. If anyone's to blame for all this, it's me. I wasn't a good enough mentor. If for no other reason, Veya deserves a second shot. Go on. I'll get her out of here before the council notices and meet you in Balmorы.
Comrade, a word.
How many times have I told you not to stick your blade in your apprentice's Nayu? She'll live, but she can't stay here. Not after what she's done.
I've got that covered. Vale won't be staying in Vardenfell. Ashur did an outstanding job. For an assassin, he's got a gift for the healing arts. Vea's going to live. Now I just have to convince her to listen to me this. And as far as she knows, she did. Now Vea needs to disappear. Otherwise, both Redren and the Morag tongue will go after her. Believe me, nobody survives that kind of attention. Vea didn't... I've arranged for a ship captain I know to meet us in Vivek City. From there, Vea will sail to Somerset and rendezvous with an associate of mine. He's kind of furry and a bit of an arse, but he's good people. He'll take care of it. As long as everyone sticks to the bargain, I go about my usual business. A writ here, a nice bath there, maybe a few intimate encounters along the way to relieve the tension, you understand? Always, hero. Oh, hey, I want you to have this. Something to remember me by until we meet again. I hope you don't leave here with the impression that all dark elves are conniving dirtbags. Some of us are... Mario... What happened? Quiet, Vea. Rest now. We can talk later.
The guild requests your help.
Mills, please, if you just listen.
Take care of yourself, Father. You always were good at that.
I'm in need of a strong set of legs, Traveler, and you look like one capable of protecting yourself. I have an obligation to my family. No, a duty of utmost importance. But I have grown too feeble to fulfill it. If you would take it, it allows one to archive memories for future generations. I hope to do this for my children, who have grown estranged. Invoke my stone at the locations I've marked on your map, and the memories I wish to archive will manifest. I thank you for your aid. Fewer than ever are willing to aid. Ah, yes. Mills. My son has never really forgiven me for never being here for them. He's a stranger in my own home. No, nary less than Mills. But both my children grew up largely on their own. My duties to Master Drenham consumed a great deal of my time. Mills especially grew up with Naria and no one else. You'll know soon enough, as will they, I hope. I failed them as a father, but I cannot travel with you. But I have attuned this stone to my soul. When you use it at the locations I've marked, it will summon echoes of things that once occurred there. It is a rare gem. Once, long ago, Redguard warriors carried them into battle. One of the most famous was a sword singer in the First Age, Makeleleki. No historian. I purchased it from my master, Drennan, a Telvanni mage of middling repute. I have served him for how long?
Do you make a habit of randomly accosting people while they fish? I don't see how that's any of your business. I've nothing to say to my father or those his Telvanni master employs. Whatever this is about, it's no concern of mine. My father managed to leave me out of his life. He can leave me out of his problems too. You want to talk?
My, you look like a well-traveled individual. If you're looking to give your mount a well-deserved rest, you've come to the right place. Wait, my father? Oh no, has he taken a fall? Or did he ask you to do something for him? He's been declining of late, and I'm afraid he's not... Oh, Mills. He was so young when Mother passed. I've tried to explain that Father had to work to keep a roof over our heads, but it's been difficult. I raised Mills myself while Father was away. Oh yes, Father is well regarded among the Telvanni masters, even though he's never aspired to be one himself. Master Drennan trusts him implicitly, and if you know anything about the Telvanni, that's impressive on its own. They don't trust easily. I wish he didn't have to work so much. Master Drennan pays well, but sometimes I worry he will work Father to death. He's just so tired all the time. Even when he finds time away, Mills... I did for a bit, after Mother died. I didn't understand why Father couldn't be with us until I grew up and learned how hard it is to keep a family housed and fed. Now I appreciate all Father's sacrifices for us. I just wish I'm afraid I don't know. All he's been able to tell me is that part of his contract with Master Drennan forbids him from disclosing any of the Master's business, even to his own children. Whatever he's doing, I'm certain it's important. Oh, Gilan, look! A Dwemer gear. It's in remarkably good condition.
Yes, wonderful. I'll mark it down.
And here, another. Could these have fallen off the ruins?
Yes, that is peculiar.
Is something the matter, dear? You seem distracted today.
Oh, nothing's the matter. I'm nervous.
Whatever for. If anything attacks us, I'll protect you.
I'm not nervous about an attack, Bravura. It's just... well... there's no good way to say this.
To say what?
Marry me?
Are you serious?
That's... not the response I hoped for.
Gilan, of course I'll marry you. I love you. I just expected something more dramatic.
Well, I planned to propose at the falls, but today we didn't go to the falls. I had to improvise.
And this is why you've been so nervous.
Yes. Wait. Did you just agree to marry me?
Yes, Gilan. 12 times yes. My dear, distracted, adorable archivist, I will marry you.
That's wonderful!
isn't it?
Oh, Bravura, you won't regret this. You are the stars to my sky.
Did you just come up with that?
Well, no. I've been saving it for the right time.
Yeah.
Lain undisturbed.
It could be years, decades even.
I'd hoped to find more Dwemer relics, but I suppose the view is inspiring.
It certainly is.
Flatterer. You can see this view anywhere now, can't you?
And yet I never grow tired of looking.
Speaking of looking, we should start viewing larger homes.
What's wrong with our current home?
It's rather small, isn't it?
It's cozy. Just enough room for you and me.
And you don't see how that could become a problem?
No?
Well, you've done a lot more than look since we married, dear.
At houses? Wait, Bravura?
Yes?
You're pregnant?
That happens when one enjoys the view, doesn't it?
That's wonderful! I'm going to be a father!
Yes, dear. Yes, you are.
We need a new house with a real kitchen and a second bedroom. Perhaps even 3 bedrooms?
One step at a time, dear.
Yeah. Yeah. Open your eyes. Please, open your eyes.
Are they gone?
Yes. You fought them off.
Oh, good. Dying for nothing would have been embarrassing.
You're not going to die. I won't allow it.
That's ambitious of you.
I can mend more than a scraped knee. You'll see. Just don't move.
That feels better.
I told you. You're still bleeding. Just a little more.
Gilan.
I can save you. I will save you.
Take care of the children. For me. Promise.
We'll take care of them together.
Promise me.
I will, I promise. But keep your eyes open.
I wish I could.
Bravura!
You've made these years so wonderful.
Bravura! Bravura!
Yeah.
Your wife signed a contract, Gilan. She did not complete it.
She died.
And now the crystals she was to procure for me have been acquired by my rival.
I've lost the mother of my children.
Your failings are not my problem.
We don't have enough money to pay you back.
Then we will sell your house.
We can't do that. Master, please. My children.
May purchase their own dwelling with their own money.
Nari's only just turned 8, and Mills...
You would offer an alternative?
What can I offer you?
I understand you have some aptitude for magic. You will serve me.
But my children
will remain in your home so long as you do not violate our contract.
But who will raise them? When will I see them?
You will see them when I don't need you. Or would you rather see them in the street?
No, of course not. Thank you, Master Drennan. I will serve you.
You sign your contract today.
Spare a copper or two? Were you able to recover my memory? No, thank you. You've recovered everything I need to explain. Well, to talk with my children. I'm not sure. Ask my children to come visit me. I feel like I can finally leave them with the answers I've never been able to provide. Tell Neria we need to talk about her mother. Neria works at the stables. She's always been good with guar, something she inherited from her mother. Mills will likely be fishing on the canal for dinner.
Oh, you've returned to bother me again.
I have nothing to say to that man. What is it about I don't want to talk about my father that you can't understand? I don't want his money any more than I want his apologies. Does that man really think he can buy me off after ignoring me my entire life? Leave me alone. If father needs someone to listen to his excuses, ask Neri.
You just don't give up, do you? Fine. I'll endure another few moments with my absentee father. For her.
Back again? Father hasn't been an undue burden to you, I hope. My mother? Father rarely mentions her. I can tell how painful it is for him to recall her, even after all these years. I was young when she passed, but my memories are... How odd. Father always was dabbling in magic. Often it seemed like he had time for little else, though I know he did it to take care of us. Still, I'd better check up on him. I imagine Mills wants nothing to do with this. I'll ensure he joins us. No one persuades Mills to do anything. I'm quite impressed.
That will certainly save me a trip. I suppose I should head home straight away.
The master went upstairs to rest. He did not wish to be disturbed until you arrived.
Let's go, Mills. He's still your father.
He has an odd way of showing it.
Father? Mills has come to visit. Father? Father! Oh, Father. I suppose you're with Mother at
Resist
last.
disappointing me one last time. Good riddance.
If only I'd come sooner. Thank you. We all knew this was coming. That doesn't make it any easier to bear. My father was a good man, even if Mills never got to see it. I'm almost afraid to do so. What couldn't he just say to us all this time? Still, these were his last wishes.
What? A ghost?
Naria. Mills. I so regret not being that as you grew up. What I could never tell.
Shh, Mills. I think this is a memory.
Soon, I'll be able to share the truth with you. To share everything with you. Thanks to the efforts of this kind traveler, I have archived my memories on this stone. I hope one day you will find it in your hearts to forgive me. And find the father and mother you never had. Here, I love you. And I've always loved you. You've both made me so proud.
Father?
Why? Why couldn't you just fade away like you always do? Why couldn't you just let me forget you?
Because it's not just about him, Mills, or you. It's about all of us. Our family, together at last.
I thought I knew my father. I always thought he hated me. That's why he was never around. I came to...
It must have been so hard on Father to have to leave us so often, to keep silent while we grew cold and distant. The guild has need of you, comrade. Well met, comrade. I have an urgent message from the guildmaster.
You there. Outland. So I was right. You're a sword for hire. Excellent. My name is Morovind of House Hlalu. Piqued your interest, have I? Capital. My brother Benar and I share ownership of the mine. He's hiding something. He's even locked down the entrance. Only his personal guards are allowed inside. There are only 2 keys to the mine. Benar keeps one in our manor house. The other is carried by the mine's foreman, Knox. I want you to procure a key, either one, and then search the mine for any sign of mischief. Report back. Foreman Knox is somewhere in Balmorы. Should be simple enough to pluck the key from his pockets. Or, if you prefer burglary, you could take my brother's key from the desk in his study. Our man is... My dear brother prefers to keep our roles in the business separate. He runs the mine while I handle the finances. He doesn't interfere with my work, nor I his. Oh, I have, but Benar tells me nothing. It's just secure more buyers and hire more workers. He gets dreadfully annoyed when I press him about my concerns. Like, why do we need so many miners? You haven't heard the rumors? The cursed mine of Vasir Didenot, they call it. They go in, but they don't come out. Now, just inane ghost stories, truth be told. But if the rumors persist, it could Well, the key should be no trouble. My brother is away at the moment, and the house guards are not exactly the keenest. If you choose to pickpocket the foreman, well, just avoid the city watch, I suppose. That's the rub. The mine is well guarded. My brother insisted that I hire only the rowdiest and most ill-tempered mercenaries, so I brought on the Iron Hound Company. I can vouch for their pugnacity. I'd prefer to avoid bloodshed, of course, but I don't want to tip my brother off. If he is up to something, I'll need deniability to maintain the element of surprise. Besides, they're mostly criminals, drunks, and skooma addicts. Expendable, yes? Well, the mine has underperformed for years. I'd actually considered selling it. Until recently, that is. Ebony has been pouring out of the mine these past few months. And normally I'd be overjoyed, but that's also when Benar became distant. Anything out of the ordinary. I don't suppose you'd know the difference between pure ebony and... Never mind, just give the mine a good look and keep an eye out for mischief. If you find anything odd, bring it back with you. I have many important clients that depend on the success of this mine. They'll hold me personally responsible if anything isn't correct. I'd like to avoid that kind of unpleasantness.
What is it?
don't recognize you. You've made a terrible mistake in coming here. Do you feel it yet? The cold rush through your veins. Oh, you really haven't figured it out. You're denser than those stone fiends. Master Rethan brought me on to study a Daedric text, a formula for turning living flesh into something like that. But what does it matter? I'll be frozen solid soon, black as midnight. A commodity, nothing more. Ironic. You mean to rob me, I suppose. The scrolls? None. Well, none that I've discovered anyway. I speak modestly when I say that if there was a cure, I would have found it already. I guess I could squander my remaining hours searching for a remedy, but I'm an alchemist, a daedrologist. We don't trouble ourselves with things like hope. Why do you even care? Oh, fine. I altered the formula, turning the liquid decoction into a vapor. It proved to be very effective. Unfortunately, it was nearly impossible to contain. Hence... What? Afflicting all these miners? Oh, spare me your crude moral outrage. They were wastrels, laborers that were too ignorant or too lazy to find work anywhere else. This is as meaningful a contribution as they were likely to make. None. I'd invite you to kill me, but given that I'll be dead soon anyway, it's hardly worth the effort.
Ah, I'm glad to see you made it back in one piece. So, what have you learned? Anything? What? Well, that sounds ghastly. To think that my own brother would be capable of such a thing. We must move quickly. Did you find any evidence? I'll need... Well done. I have a final task for you, if you're willing. I must take this to the trade baron, Councillor Riveth. He's staying at the Balmorы Inn. Alas, Benna has many contacts in town. If he hears that I'm meeting Riveth, he may try to flee. Travel to the Rethan Manor House and detain Benna. Once I've explained matters to Riveth, he'll send Hlalu constables to collect my brother. After this, I'll ask nothing more of you. You have my word. Not long. He tends to be brusque. Once I've explained the situation, he'll waste no time bringing Benna. They will punish him severely. He'll definitely lose his share of the estate and the ebony mine. He may even lose his life. In either case, that the men I worked tirelessly to hire were being used as fodder for some vile experiment? Absolutely not. It's appalling. Why would I have sent you to discover what was going on if I already knew? Yes, I hired him at my brother's insistence. Something about valuable books and scrolls found in the shrine. We planned to sell them off once Gavros translated them. That's what I thought, anyway. Wait. I see. That is unfortunate. But I suppose that's the risk you take.
Piece of the puzzle. Time to tie up loose ends.
There is an urgent task for you.
Malorethan. What a swit. I'm going to need a stiffer drink.
Hold still. Stop weaving.
You don't appear to be holding my drink, so I'm sure I have no interest in you. Off with you. I am. Young Mahler and I were talking about the sudden success of his mining enterprise, built on some irregularities that I'd prefer not to discuss. Not that it's any of your business. Who are you? Why are you meddling in Hlalu business? My, this is damning. Dear Mahler tried to hang this whole business around his brother's neck, and yours. A prudent, albeit sloppy affair. House Hlalu can ill afford such a scandal, and I hate to be lied to. Kill Mahler, and I will reward you. What would I do with him? Chain him to a post? His life no longer serves the house's interests. I don't expect an outlander to understand, but this needs to be done. Honestly, I doubt he'll give you a choice in the matter. His city residence, I expect, just across the river. Do be quick about this. I'm anxious to be done with the Brothers Rethan. No. What scroll? Don't tell me there's more to this fetching disaster. Does it now? Listen carefully. Don't breathe a word of this to anyone else. If Marla has this formula on him, bring it to me. The reward will be significant. We cannot let this get out, and we cannot let it fall into the wrong hands. By the three, what a mess. I'll put some of my Oathman on it. Oathman I can trust. If we can clear out the riffraff, it might be salvageable. If not, we'll simply collapse the thing. Better to bury it than let some fool stumble upon Marla's folly.
I'll finish this myself.
Best price is here.
Quietly now. Is it finished? Well then, this unfortunate little tale comes to an end. I've already dispatched some of my best agents to clean up Rethon Manor. We'll tend to Marla's apartment and the mine next. Well done. Now, what of this mysterious scroll? Excellent. Best hand it over to me. Something so dangerous should not fall into the wrong hands. House Flalu can keep it safe, or destroy it if we deem it necessary. You sniveling little swit, do you know how valuable... Never mind. What's done is done. But don't expect any extra coin from me now. You'll have what was promised for killing Marla and not a drake more. This had better buy your sight. There is nothing more for us to discuss.